Wow, what an amazing year of walking 2024 was. I just want to thank you so much for coming with me. And what I'm going to share with you now is like a kind of highlights reel from the year. It's not every video, but it's some of my favourite moments from the walks that I did in 2024. It's difficult to encapsulate. I mean, every year I think it's the best one yet, and I hope that continues. So I hope you enjoy this highlights reel, and I'll do the sign off at the end anyway. It's a freezing cold January day, which is the perfect conditions to walk one of London's most ancient paths. Oh yes. It's just down here, the other end of Walthamstow High Street. I'll tell you all about it. It's going to be great. So David Boot marks up the path of the Black Path across the marshes using a map from 1800 by Milne that shows land use in the area. And it would have been more or less diagonal. However, it would have conformed to the parish boundaries rather than cutting across arable land. It would have cut across common marshland, common meadow, but not across arable land. So it would have taken a slightly diagonal route. The modern route is along here towards that bridge, but we're going to turn off right across the marshes. And this is where we turn towards Porter's Field. I mean, it is intriguing the way that the shape of this river here, the way it splits in two and creates this island, this tidal island, does seem to have a correlation with the present street plan, with this street here being the northern channel and the street that I walked down when I came down the steps being that southern channel there. It is uncanny because look, that's Newgate up there, which is just further up the street there. I mean, could it be? I mean, it's just, well, whether it's the exact course or not, I don't know, but it is mirrored in the streetscape. I'll try and put a contemporary map up here so you can see. And we are now going to dive into this nest of narrow streets here. Here we have the Clink Prison Museum. I'm not sure if this is the actual site because the Clink prison dates from 1509 and was within the precincts of the Bishop of Winchester's palace, and it was built to contain the people who misbehaved at the theatre and the bear baiting and the brothels of Bankside. It stopped being used after the English Civil War and then was burnt down during the Gordon riots of 1780. And the information board here augments what I remembered from the London Compendium. It said the first prison actually was built in 1127 in the cellar of the palace of the Bishop of Winchester, which is interesting. And we get a wonderful view here of the rose window in the ruins of the Bishop of Winchester's palace. And this is all that remains of the vast palace of the Bishop of Winchester, which was established here in the 12th century. The first Bishop of Winchester to build a palace here was the brother of King Stephen, which was a very turbulent period of English history. And this was the Great Hall, a vast building, one of the largest and most important buildings in medieval London. And there would have been a number of other buildings, the precincts of the palace stretched all around this area, and we've passed through much of it today. So what's left though is still really imposing and impressive, isn't it? And it's a real brilliant end to this walk, a very fitting end to this walk. You could say the generator of much of what we've seen today. It's great to see the daffodils out here in the churchyard at St Mary's. Isn't that lovely? Does that mean spring's arrived, or what people call false spring? I think that's more accurate, isn't it? So from here, from the church, St Mary's, I am going to take the most direct route to North Ockenden. I was going to say we are in North Ockenden, but to the point, the easternmost point in London, which is basically over there somewhere, not far, but yeah, interesting to see what it's marked with. The outermost edge of London, the outermost edge of the eastern edge, the easternmost point in London. It's not riffing the same. Maybe need a guitar. And here's the magnificent Church of St Anne's Limehouse, built in 1730 and designed by Nicholas Hawksmoor, and consequently designated a very strong psychogeographical nodal point, which gives it great potency in the sacred geography of London. A church heavily associated with Iain Sinclair, who was a parks gardener. I think he worked in this graveyard for the council, working on the garden here. It's one of the most important sites in Iain's map, his map of London that he drew, the psychogeography of London, that he designed and was drawn by Brian Catlin, and was in that exhibition at Swedenborg House, featured in the video I made there recently about his exhibition, Histories and Hauntings. What a magnificent lump of limestone. And in fact, there is the pyramid that features in that exhibition as a photograph of Iain. I think it's Iain, or Brian Catlin, stood beside that pyramid there, that mysterious pyramid. So here at Aldgate Square, somewhere in the vicinity of this point here, a river burst through the ground. A spring, a river, that helped shape the eastern end of the Roman city of London. Luckily, a fellow called Kelsey, I had to go back into my notes, in 1841 wrote a paper called The Original Plan of the Contours of London. And it was fortunate because the shape of the city was only just starting to be changed by the railways. That contours, those contours, some of that is unrecognisable from the city today. And he describes the valley that I'm looking into right now. I'm looking into this ancient river valley that shaped the eastern side of the city of London. It's quite a moment. Hey! Fans everywhere. Well, it feels really strange, first reaction, to be back here in Petts Wood after an absence of 2 years. But I'm back here for a very special reason. So I ended my last section of the London Loop here at Petts Wood in April 2022, which seems mad to me now to think of that it's 2 years since I did the last bit of the London Loop. And I remember coming out on this high street in the evening, and I think I went to Costa Coffee or somewhere and sat down in the evening. It just got dark. And that was a great section of the London Loop. So I fancied a country walk today, but I didn't want to travel too far from London. So that is when the London Loop really comes into its own. And here we have City Road Lock. And this section here between City Road Basin and the Islington Tunnel and the bit on the other side is my favourite part of the Regent's Canal walk. I love this section along here. And I love this approach to the Islington Tunnel. It's like a relic in the jungle, isn't it? Just emerging there, this black chasm up ahead. I think it's the most special thing on this entire section of canal, the entire length of the canal, I should say. And of course we can't walk through it. There's no towpath through the tunnel. What have we got here, Ian?
This is the postern gate, which is all that remains of the royal residence of Northampton Castle. But what was grabbing me was the quality of the stone, because you've got this Jurassic causeway running across from Bath, comes through the Cotswolds, comes into Northampton like a flowing yellow stream that original British mapping geologist William Smith was making his way through here when he ended up in the church across the road.
Actually on the Jurassic Way that he had discovered. Yeah, I mean, because apparently it runs right, it crosses the Nen over by the station.
Cotswolds, Northampton.
Yeah, and it goes up from Bath to Lincoln.
Yeah, so it's crucial.
And so it must have been one of the first tracks that actually made Britain into a connected country rather than just a bunch of isolated settlements.
But just coming out of the station, actually rubbing your hand against this stone, you're straight into it. The trial of Thomas à Becket, for example. I mean,
Took place here.
yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
And this was only dismantled to make the railway station.
Crazy. So basically the river flowed directly south from here, all the way down to the Thames at Chelsea. And it's a fantastic route, goes through White City, crosses Fulham Road, King's Road, goes through Earl's Court, Olympia, all of that jazz, before it drops into the Thames at Chelsea Creek. And this is the magnificent map in the back of Nicholas Barton's Lost Rivers of London that shows all the rivers in London, lost and not. And here's the Counters Creek here, rising in Kensal. He has it rising in Kensal Green Cemetery as well, and then just flowing straight south, sort of around the edge of Notting Hill through Nottingdale, and it marks the boundary between two boroughs, Kensington and Chelsea, and Hammersmith and Fulham. Unfortunately for us, there is no exit to the south of the cemetery, so we have to go on a massive detour out onto Harrow Road, along and down Scrubs Lane, and then we're back on the course of the river. After that, I think we can pretty consistently follow the river. That's interesting. You're supposed to be able to walk that way, but you can't see them, even having to take detours on the detour. So we'll pick up on Harrow Road or Scrubs Lane, one or the other. Lovely to be stood over the river once again. You need these points of contact on a river walk. Information board in, what I love, look, sometimes people will ask me about my fascination with rivers and lost rivers. Here's part of the reason. Look, the Meadow has been running on its current course for over 30 million years. This is much longer than the Thames has been following its current course, as the Thames was pushed off course by a huge glacier 450,000 years ago. Before that, it used to flow through Essex. Wow. And also it tells us the name Mardyke means boundary ditch. It does act as a parish boundary, and at one point, obviously, the boundary between Greater London and Essex. Wow, 30 million years. See, that's it. It's almost too much to absorb. So here it is, Sniggs Alley, a place of legend, the place that exists in both our world and the disc world. Wow. Now, if ever I were going to use that tiny planet feature that makes the world go round on my 360 camera, it's going to be here. So those of you that don't like it, you have to forgive me here, it's completely justifiable. And this is from Sorcery. He could have kept going. He could have walked up the stairs, out into the street, got a pizza from the Clatchian takeaway in Sniggs Alley, and gone to bed. So as I mentioned back there in High Wycombe, Sniggs Alley is a place in Pratchett's city of Ankh-Morpork. I think that's how it's pronounced, Ankh-Morpork. But those of you that know the Discworld series will know Ankh-Morpork is a place of vice, a den of iniquity, a place of crime and corruption, and sort of really smelly place. The Ankh is a river, nothing like the crystal waters of the River Wye back there. So Sniggs Alley, the real Sniggs Alley, this one, you know, it's interesting that he took the name. I guess he was just thinking of the name. It's a good name. It's a great name. It is a great name. So as we walk along here, we can think that Pratchett would have walked this way as a teenager, I guess. Now the reason we're out here today is I was walking along here the other day with some friends on the way to meet someone for lunch, and at this point here I stopped dead in my tracks because I saw something which reminded me of something I'd read. I mean, look, there's water here, clearly water. That's all right, don't worry. No, that's perfectly fine. I've done it. Thank you, appreciate that. And there's definitely water down there, and it's got a fair old whiff to it actually. A proper old whiff to it. You can smell it from here. So there is a crater on Mars called Tooting, and it is named after Tooting in South London. The scientist who discovered it and named it was originally from Tooting, and on the listing for that crater, there's if you Google Mars crater called Tooting, the photograph is a photograph of Tooting Beck tube station, which I believe the scientists chose to represent the reason for the name, which I love. I love that so much. Paddington, best known for its bear, of course, and also its station, which is just over there on the other side of the road. But they do feature later on, or the bear doesn't, in this walk. But we're going to explore the ancient Paddington, village Paddington, a place of so many incredible facts that it bowls me over almost. And the map shows it cutting across Liverpool Road here and down behind Angel Tube Station to Colebrook Road, where it presents a slightly curious, anomaly. Let's call it an anomaly for now, and we'll discuss it when we get there. The Angel Islington, which there was a toll gate here that marked the entrance to the city, really, hence City Road, that we'll be going down in 1 second. And naturally, as you walk down City Road, you feel that you're dropping down off the high ground of Islington, the hill, the Islington. But the northern branch of the Walbrook would have been cutting across here, across Torrens Street, running parallel to City Road at this point. So the Walbrook is cutting across here, across Colebrook Row, and then runs down Elliam Mews, which is beautiful, isn't it? But it does present a conundrum for me. So we come out of Cater Park and we go to Kings Hall Road, heading towards Beckenham Place Park. I came out today looking for a leafy autumnal walk, and I certainly found it, a lovely relaxing autumn London walk. This is beautiful. Look at this down here. It wouldn't be a proper kind of London walk if you didn't have at least one station subway. Here we go under New Beckenham Station. Apparently, New Beckenham Station dates from 1904. So I'm not sure whether to believe this is well, all street names are made up, you know what I mean? This is called Copers Cope Road. Copers Cope Road. I have to look that up later. It doesn't even mention the story in the Capital Ring leaflet. It's got to be good. And there it is, the Black Lion. According to the person who commented, sorry I can't remember your name, the best pub in London fact, the best pub. So we're about to find out. You'll get the opinion of two people, me and the pub YouTuber I'm about to meet. Here he is. We thought we'd have a bit of pub chat, but not a full pub chat, because after I'm going to have a pint with John Tweedy here, and then we're going to walk along, we're going to take a walk towards the Boleyn Tavern, but I'm not going to go in the Boleyn. Let's see how we get on. But I need to sign some books at New Bookshop, which is over the road, and then I'm going to go back and do West Ham Park. But the key thing is, if you want to know about this pub, you've got to go over to John's channel, and John will tell you all, or Tweedy Pubs will tell you all about the interior, go into a lot of detail. You seem to know a lot about architectural pubs.
Oh, sorry.
So today we're going to go for a walk through Tudor London using this map of London in 1520. This is the map I picked up at one of the buildings that would have been in London in 1520, the Charterhouse there, the Charterhouse Museum. So before I get going, I highly recommend that you go along to the Charterhouse Museum and pick up this beautiful map if you're interested in it. They've also got the map of medieval London, and it's a really beautiful reconstruction. As it says in its text, it's a reconstruction of a city that no longer exists, a city that has vanished. But has it vanished? We're going to walk through some of the surviving areas of Tudor London, or look for some of the remnants or the echoes of the London of Henry VIII, the London of Thomas Cromwell, if you've been binge watching Wolf Hall like I have, which is partly the inspiration for today's walk. So we're starting here at the Tower of London, which is one of the buildings that would have been here at the time this map was, well, it's a reconstruction of the city, but this is one of the buildings that would have existed at that time that is still here. There are a number of others, and we will take some of those in, whilst also looking at the footprints of some of the more significant buildings that were here. Now, I read somewhere that Felixstowe was the first place to have permanent beach huts. If you remember, you must have seen images of the beach huts being moved down to the sea and into the water, so people could go directly from their bathing hut into the water. But Felixstowe, yeah, is the first place they left them here. So it's the home of the beach hut, more than is, I guess, the home of hauntology. Maybe we're haunted by the lost future of the beach hut. Well, I hope you enjoyed revisiting some of those moments from 2024, a great year of walking, and 2025 is going to be even better. Got loads of plans for the coming year. Maybe I should discuss those with you in the pub, on a pub chat, the first pub chat of 2025. Look out for that in the new year. And I would love to hear in the comments what some of your favourite walking moments were of 2024. I know you're all over the world. It's always great to hear about some of the walks that you've been doing wherever you are, or if you've come to London. Some of you may have done some of the walks in that video. I met someone the other day actually who went to the Black Lion, who come from Boston and ended up going to the Black Lion in Plaistow, which I love that so much. It's going to be fantastic, 2025. Let's go and get it, shall we? Let's go get 2025. Anyway, I look forward to seeing the next walk, wherever that may be.
It's over the meadow, over the stream, it's where I am going and where I have been. It's been a long day now, it's time for a beer, and now for home, of course I must steer. It's over the meadow, over the stream, I hope you are pleased with what you have seen. How's that?